Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome to a brand new Q&A. I hope you didn't mind the intro. It's just one of those things, ever since I was a little kid and I watched wrestling, you know, big muscle-bound guys covered in baby oil running around in their underwear, I was like, that is amazing. So, yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to do there. Anyway, we're going to do something very new, very unique. It's something I've never tried before, and because I have Snapchat now, by the way, follow me on Snapchat at the Flickpick. What I did is I told everyone a few hours ago, hey, send me your Q&A questions via Snapchat, and I have a lot of them. I have more than I thought I would get in the course of 2 hours. There's actually hundreds here. And I actually told people to send me videos only, but I do see a lot of text, maybe some images. But yeah, I'll just go down the list. And I hope everyone behaved themselves, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click play on the video, you know, hold it up to the camera and kind of try to show it that way. I'm a little bit scared right now. I'm scared. Is anyone else scared? But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into your questions and let's see what you guys had to ask. Before we begin, let me take a drink. I know. All right.
Hi, John. My question is, have you heard of the new movie called Hardcore with Sharlto Copley? It's the new point of view action movie. What are your thoughts on it?
Hardcore, I have not heard anything. Sounds cool, it sounds badass. Are they going to shoot with like GoPro cameras and things like that, like a point of view? It's probably based on those shorts that they had on YouTube like a few years ago, where they actually had a POV style like action sequence. And to watch an entire movie like that, that would be that'd be kind of awesome. So, but I don't know much about it. By the way, before we continue on, just to let you know, for the last 2 weeks I've had a cold. I still have the cold, so yeah, just bear with me. My immune system is dying right now, and caffeine's the only thing to keep it alive. All right, the next question.
Tits.
Or ass.
Why not both? I love when couples come together and ask questions. I like both. But I don't know. The upper echelon of a woman, just the more visible to me. So I'm all about visuals and ambiance. So.
John, so quick question. You gotta fuck one, kill one, and marry one. You got Batman, Spider-Man, and Walter White. Go.
It's gonna be a long night. You probably want to bang Spider-Man because he's so little and feminine. Plus he shoots his webs, and that just sounds like a good Friday night. Walter White. I'd probably have to kill Walter White. I just don't trust the guy. You know what I mean? I just feel like I'd be like, dude, we already have $280,000. We're good to go. That was the plan. You were going to put the kids through college, and he'd just keep making meth. You'd probably marry Batman. You know, it'd be a little bit boring, a little bit stoic, but the guy has a lot of money, and yeah, you know, I get to take rides in the Batmobile. So it's like, why not? All right, the next one.
Hi, Flickpick. So what if Batman vs. Superman sucks and Mary couldn't fuck? Jar Jar Binks, Jabba the Hutt, or Doomsday? Thanks.
What's with these all who would you rather do questions? Oh shit. Jabba the Hutt was in there, man. I don't know. Can I just kill Jar Jar Binks? That's what I'm going with out of that question. If Batman v Superman sucks, which the last trailer really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, emotionally, physically, I will admit it. If I go into that movie and it sucks and it's a big clusterfuck, I will agree that it sucks. I will be very let down. I would say that was a lot of wasted potential, and but I think it might be good. I just hope that we got a bad trailer, and I'm hoping that if they do showcase Doomsday in that movie, they do it right. They really do it right. So I'm holding out hope. All right.
Did you like the X-Men Apocalypse trailer?
Yes, I did, sir. Sorry. I'm going to be coughing a lot like Walter White in this video. Yeah, I did like the X-Men Apocalypse trailer. It was a little bit better than expected. I like that Apocalypse. It does seem like, and you could disagree with this, but it does seem like after those early released photos came out a long time ago, everyone hated them. They're like, that looks like Ivan Ooze and Mr. Freeze had a baby together, and it did. But in that trailer, you don't really see that version of Apocalypse. He doesn't look all purple and shit, does he? So I actually think they went in and did some reshoots, and they also added some CG elements to Apocalypse to actually make him look like Apocalypse a little bit more in that trailer. And I'm glad that if that is the case, I'm glad that they took the feedback. But it's one of those things no one at the studio will ever admit. But yeah, I thought the trailer looked cool. It definitely looks epic, and it doesn't feel bloated. You know how like some comic book movies just feel like green screen, and just yuck. It feels like a video game. The X-Men Apocalypse trailer looked like a real movie with characters in it with consequences, and it didn't have that bloated vibe for me. So yeah, that was really cool. I liked that. So yeah, I can't wait to check it out. And I also like the 80s theme of it. I like how like the characters are stuck in the 80s and they're... So yeah, I really don't have that many complaints with that. I'm looking forward to the movie.
Hey John, Mr. Flickinger. My king, my lord, my savior, my everything. What is your favorite color? I've always wondered.
Well, yeah. Shit's getting weird, guys. Favorite color? I gotta go with blue. Blue is a relaxing color. It's a mystical, magical color, and I just feel like I get lost in it every time I go into a blue room. That's why I paint half the rooms in my house blue. Different shades of blue, because you gotta switch it up a little bit. But as far as like a color to wear, I always feel like grays. I'm kind of like, I wear different colored grays all the time. They look better in video, and something about them just like, they even you out a little bit. Alright, next question.
What's up, Flick Pick? What's your favorite Marvel movie?
Favorite Marvel movie? I would say on a quality standpoint, you gotta go Winter Soldier. It's probably like the most real Marvel film. It's like, it feels like a real movie. And I feel like it has more rewatchable value than most of the other films. And then Guardians of the Galaxy is right behind it. So it's kind of it's a mix between both of those. I can't quite decide yet. Probably go with Captain America Winter Soldier. I feel like, is that what I said originally? I feel like that's what I said. Yeah. Okay, some people sent me text questions, and I told you guys to send video questions, so I'm going to have to skip over them, but I will look at them later.
Who's the best horror director working today, in your opinion? Hey, John, what's your favorite foreign film?
Foreign film. Foreign film. I don't know. I mean, if you want to get technical about it, there's a lot of big blockbuster films that are foreign films. I mean, could you consider like I don't know. Let me go back to the horror question. I forgot his name. It's escaping me right now. He directed The Conjuring. Why can I not remember his... James Wan? Is that it? I feel like that's it. Maybe not. The guy who directed The Conjuring, I think he's doing good things with The Conjuring, Insidious, those type of films. I feel like he's making movies scary once again. But before him, I would say Wes Craven. John Carpenter did Halloween, but really wasn't a fan of anything he ever did after that. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Hey John, how many calories you eat a day?
How many calories do I eat a day? I like how you asked that without a shirt on. I don't know why. How many calories do I eat a day? It just really depends. I don't really track macros. I go by feel. But I try to eat at least over 2,000. You don't always hit that, but in general, I try to eat over 2,000, especially on weeks I really work out, because you gotta to grow, you have to eat more than you're burning. So yeah, maybe like aim for 2,500. Some days more. It just depends if I'm in bulk mode or I want to lean out. And I kind of just go by that. So I don't really pay attention to calories, to be honest with you. I more so pay attention just like protein and like carbs. So.
Hey John, you should call Chris Stuckman right now and ask him when his next Blu-ray collection is gonna be, because it's really pissing me off. John, do you have a girlfriend? If so, what's her name?
Yeah, I do have a lady friend. But you know, we're kind of just feeling it out, you know, testing it out. So when it becomes official, I will announce it. And then I'll announce it like you know, it's like in The Lion King. I'll just hold her up to the camera like that. But what was your other? Oh yeah, Stuckman. I think he wants to kind of not do the Blu-ray collection video this year. I just don't feel like he wants to do it. But he makes a whole bunch of other videos, so enjoy those.
from Australia here. What is your favourite fight scene in the movie?
Why is no one wearing shirts in any of these videos? I don't blame you guys. When I'm not making videos, I'm not wearing a shirt either in my house. Or pants, for that matter. Favorite fight scene in a movie? Man, you guys are asking some tough questions. Off the top, I'm just going to have to give you some off the top of my head answers. One of them would probably be the Batman versus Bane fight scene in The Dark Knight Rises. Something about that was just, I remember watching it in the theater and just feeling like you could feel the punches. I liked how practical it felt. It felt really badass. And I just remember watching it. I was like, that is awesome. And by the time I got to the end, I was like, break his fucking back. You better break his fucking back, Bane. And he did it. So I appreciate that. I liked that fight scene. Trying to think of another fight scene. I know there's tons, man. It's just such a tough question to ask off the top here. I'm trying to... you're killing me. Oh, I like the Matrix fight scene at the end of the first Matrix that takes place in the subway tunnel. I like that. I'm trying to think of a few others. I'm sure there's like 80 off the top of my head I can't really think about right now, so... I'll tell you one fight scene, and it's probably not my favorite, but it's the funniest, weirdest shit of a fight scene you'll ever watch in your life. It's from the movie Roadhouse. It's the last fight scene in the film where Dalton, Patrick Swayze, is going up against the bad henchman of the movie, and the bad guy looks at Patrick Swayze, and he's like, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. And then they keep fighting. And that's just one of those lines you could only get away with in a late 1980s movie. Nowhere else would that be okay or acceptable. So yeah, I always remember that as a young kid. Thank you for that. Not a question, but we'll keep going.
Hey John, I wanted to ask, since there hasn't really been any good movies lately for novels, what do you think would be a good movie for a novel?
A good movie from a novel? I don't know. I heard that they're actually working on one called The Trench. Now, that's one of the... I probably read 20 books, well, maybe like 30 books in my life. And The Trench was one of them. It's about a megalodon shark, and it's pretty epic and badass. And if they made it... And I've heard that they were actually putting that novel into production. And I remember reading that book, like, in 2008. And I was like, whoa, man, this would make an awesome IMAX movie because it's like an underwater adventure movie, and it really goes for it. Yeah, they're actually making that. So I think that would be kind of a really cool movie if they do it right. So, yeah, The Trench by Steve Alton, I believe.
Star Wars movies. What Star Wars movie is your favorite out of the trilogy? Definitely not any of the prequels for me.
No. Oh.
Of the movies you've seen, who is your favorite character? It could be an actress, it could be an actor, I don't really care. What's the worst impression you could possibly do?
You know, her name was something Azul. I don't know, that was my Christopher Walken impression. That's probably the shittiest impression I got. As far as Star Wars movies, Empire, man. How can you not say that's not the best? Yeah, as far as my favorite character, I don't know. Are we referring to movies? I don't know. Are you talking about Star Wars? Because if it's Star Wars, Darth Vader. Biggest badass. Yeah, it's late. But yeah, we'll go with Darth Vader. It's like, the guy was evil, but I would like to work for him. I don't know why. Evil, corruption, taking over the universe, it just intrigues me. Alright. Let's keep going here.
Hello, John. What you will do if they made a film about your life, directed by Tommy Wiseau? Greetings from Mexico.
I like that. So we're going to have the guy who directed The Room direct my life. Oh, hi, doggy. What a funny story, Mark. Yeah, that would be, if anyone could direct a movie about my life, that's who I would want to direct it. Could you imagine that shit? Like, Tommy Wiseau would play me. He'd cut his hair like me, right? And then, like, the whole movie, like, it would be in the Flick Cave, but it wouldn't be the Flick Cave. It would be a green screen of the Flick Cave with him sitting in front of the green screen. Oh, hi, guys! What are you doing today? Like, that would be the movie, and that would be the most phenomenal movie I could ever imagine, and I would love to see it. Like, yeah, you give me Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg directing a biopic about my life? No, I don't want that. Give me Tommy Wiseau, because that will be comedy gold. But but I hope he takes it serious.
Alright, Flickster, do you read books? And if so, what's your favorite book?
Like I said, I haven't read that many books. Just because I like to read. I like to read true stories. I like to read biographies. I like to read things like that. Just because they fascinate me. A few books I remember reading quite often when I was in middle school. I read Mick Foley's autobiography about his own life, and that was I just things like that intrigue me. I read a book about here's a very weird book I read. I think it was called Hot House, and it was about a federal penitentiary. It was based on a true story, and it talked about all these events that happened there, and like how some of these guys were so evil and corrupt they actually based movie characters on them, but not a lot of people know about that. Like there's a guy named Steven Silverstein that they based Hannibal Lecter off of. He was actually so evil that they had to put him in his own wing in this prison, in his own cage, because he was the most violent man. So yeah, that's one of the books I read. But yeah, it's I'm trying to think of a few others. I don't know. Those I like to read evil, dark, scary stories based on true events. Those are my favorite types of books.
Hey there, John. I have a very important question. Ham and cheese or peanut butter and jelly?
Peanut butter and fucking jelly! Are you kidding me? I just ate 2 of those earlier. Delicious. But ham and cheese is also delicious, but here's the problem. Too lazy to make it.
John, what were your best moments for Mad Max Fury Road? Please do share it.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it, man. I did not hear that question. But thank you for it.
Hey John, my question for the Q&A is, what do you think of the new cast of X-Men Apocalypse?
I don't mind it. I don't mind the younger cast in the movie. You got the one chick from Game of Thrones. I think she looks okay as Jean Grey. Everyone looks okay. They look sufficient. I can't really judge them until I see them in a scene in the movie. But as far as the young cast goes, I don't mind it. I am curious if they're going to continue the X-Men franchise with this new cast, or is this going to be like, I know they might have one other movie after this, but after that, are they going to keep milking this same universe, or are they going to kind of like, yep, it's done, let's reboot the X-Men franchise into something new? Because, excuse me, because that's what I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping they milk one more movie out of the Bryan Singer universe of X-Men, then they end it, they reboot it, and we get like the go for it type X-Men, like the ones where they like wear costumes, not everything's super base and realism. So that would be kind of like the X-Men version I want to see. But yeah, I'm okay with the new cast. I think it's okay. I love Michael Fassbender as Magneto. I think he's phenomenal. And I'm kind of curious to see what they do with Wolverine in this X-Men Apocalypse. Because he's got to show up at some point. I'm just saying. Okay, I think I encountered a problem. Here's the problem. Snapchat's a piece of shit, first of all. But here's the thing. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of snaps from you guys on here. And they keep going and going. And it's saying that I already looked at these, even though I haven't. Like, I got these a few hours ago. I didn't look at anything before I recorded the video. Now it's saying I did. So I'm trying to open them, and I can't do it. So Snapchat hates us. It didn't want me to make a Q&A video with your questions. But yeah, it's saying I can't look at hundreds of your questions right now. That makes me want to crush my phone. So yeah, fuck you, Snapchat. Thanks for nothing. So that kind of is going to put a damper on the Q&A, but I do have more that keep popping up, so hopefully maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll fix itself. I don't know, but let's keep going.
Hey, John, where do you get the music for your channel? Did you make it? Somebody else make it? If you made it, what programs you use? Thanks, man.
I didn't make the music for my channel. I actually had a website that had royalty-free music, and it actually costs money to use it. I'm trying. I can't remember the audio macro. Does that sound right? I don't know. It was a downloadable music thing. It was like royalty free. It costs money for all the music and stuff on there, but it has everything that you need. So. You know what they consist of? A lot of badass motherfuckers. That's what they consist of. Oh, yes, an old clip where I was talking about my viewers. All right.
Hey John, I'm a huge fan and I've got one question for you. Would you rather sleep on a bed made out of Morgan Freeman's smooth, tender voice or lather Sylvester Stallone out with baby oil?
My name is Morgan Freeman. Fuck. How do you... I can't even decide. Could you imagine either one of those? Is it like modern day Sylvester Stallone? Because he's kind of looking like a baked potato nowadays. Is it 1985 Sylvester Stallone when he's in his prime? That's different. I'd probably go with the sleep on a bed made out of Morgan Freeman's voice. Ugh, I could die in that bed. All right.
What is your most anticipated non-comic book movie of 2016? Freaking love you, bro. Namaste.
I love you too, man. Most anticipated movie of 2016? I don't know. I haven't even really looked at the movies coming out in 2016. I know there's probably like 30 that I want to see. I just honestly cannot think of any of them right now. The only one on my mind is Batman v Superman. I'm sure there are some really good quality movies coming out next year, and my brain is just mush and mashed potatoes right now. I think there was... what was it? No. I don't remember. I can't think of any. That's awful, isn't it?
Hey, John, I just want to know what you want for Christmas. And have you been a good boy?
Yes, sir. No, I have not. I've been bad. What do I want for Christmas? I don't know. I just tell my family to get me whatever the hell they want. Gift cards preferably, but, preferably gift cards to restaurants. I don't like to cook. I'm lazy, so... yeah, that's always beneficial. And big bag, like 2-pound bags of Sour Patch Kids. Put that in a stocking. You give that to me on Christmas, we're good to go. So.
Yo, John Flickster, bruh. How much do you bench, bruh?
Yeah, my fucking viewers are the greatest. I don't know, man. For benching, I don't know. Sometimes I put like 245 on there, and then I do that as many times as I can. I can usually do it like 10, 12 times. I usually do maybe 3 sets of that, but I don't really go heavier than that because I always work out alone. I never really have a spotter. I don't like to ask people to spot me, so I don't know. I've never really truly tested my might with the bench press, so I don't know. I need to do that sometime. I got to see, but yeah. So 245-ish I can do 10 times. I figure if I can do 245 10 times, I could do 300 something at least once, right? That makes sense. So
apparently the screenwriter for Batman vs. Superman said that Doomsday is not the final act. What do you think is the final act of Batman vs. Superman?
So Doomsday is not the final act. All right. Well, what the fuck is the final act of that movie? Because if Doomsday is not the final act, then think how really fucking bloated that movie's going to be. Just think about it logistically, all right? The trailer showed the opening. It showed the Batman v Superman fight, which I'm guessing is the middle act of the film. And then it showed Batman and Superman getting along just fine, like they fought. Now they have to come together to fight this beast named Doomsday. So now they're kind of getting along, and we see that in the trailer. So I don't imagine that happens before their fight. And then we see Doomsday. So if Doomsday is not the final act of that movie, and Doomsday's, say, 3/4 of the movie in, then what the hell is the final act of that movie? There's even more? That doesn't do much for me. That doesn't really relieve much pressure, because now it just says, now it's even more bloated than the trailer made it look. So if that's not the final act, and there's another final act on top of that, I don't... what the hell else happens in that movie? Is there another villain? How many villains do they have in this movie? So yeah, guys, I had hundreds and hundreds of other Snap videos I really wanted to watch. There was a few in there I was like, I want to see that. I want to watch that. So, but Snapchat is being a piece of shit. Why are you such a piece of shit, Snapchat? Okay, let's keep going because I keep getting new Snapchat video questions as I wait around for a few minutes. What I'm doing is I'm waiting like 2 or 3 minutes, taking slow drinks of my Monster Energy drink, and then hoping for some new Snapchat videos so we can continue the Q&A, because I wanted to make a really fun, long Q&A. It's just Snapchat wanted to ruin everyone's day. So, okay, let's continue on with the Snapchat Q&A questions.
Oh, didn't see you there. What is your favorite Star Wars ship?
The Millennium Falcon. Come on, man! Actually, you know, the Death Star is pretty awesome, except it has one major weak point, and it just, boo, you shoot a fucking laser in it, and it blows up.
John, I'm resending it. Did you go to college, and if so, where?
I went to a place called International Business College. It's one of those easy colleges. It's just like you go, you do it. It was like high school, but except you had to pay a lot of money to go. And that was, I just wanted a piece of paper that said I went to college. It was kind of a mistake in a lot of ways. At least for me it was. It was kind of a waste of money, to be honest with you. I wasn't very happy with the education I got. I learned more by coming home watching YouTube tutorial videos than I ever learned from going to school. So yeah, I should have just paid that internet bill of $30 a month, got a better education, learned more, than paying, you know, $28,000 to go to the school I went to. But yeah, sometimes college is good. Sometimes I don't think it's necessary. It just depends on the person and what you want to go for. You know, if you want to be an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, you obviously have to go to college for these things. But if you want to start up your own business, depending on what you want to do, you can self-educate yourself. I mean, those same books that you're going to pay thousands of dollars for in college, where you listen to a teacher, you know, just read what's already in that book and tell you, you can buy those books yourself and read them. So it's up to you. Yeah, college. I regret paying for it. I regret paying for it every month because I still have college loans. But yeah, college. Education in America. It's a business, people. They want to make money. That's why other countries, you can get an education for free. All right.
One character from Star Wars, who would it be?
If I was one character from Star Wars, who would I be? Jabba the Hutt. I don't know. Jar Jar Binks. I don't know. I would like to be like the cool answer is like Han Solo or something, and maybe, but I would kind of be like, I would like to be the apprentice to like Darth Vader or something. I don't know. That's who I'd like to be, because I want to be evil. I want to join the dark side. Sorry, it just seems cool. But I wouldn't be all like somber and like boring like everyone in the dark side is. Like they're just like standing around. They all talk like this. Like I'd be like, I just talk like me. I'd be like, hey Darth, can I learn how to choke somebody out with the power of the Jedi mind trick today? No, John, you can't.
If you could watch any movie, what movie would it be?
Could watch any movie, what movie would it be? I would guess that you're saying a movie that's not out yet, or do I get to make up any movie in my mind? Because I can tell you a few movies I'd like to see. I'd like to see a good Terminator movie sequel. Yeah, I'd like to see James Cameron come back and make a good Terminator sequel. Arnold has a few years left. He has maybe 1 to 2 years left to actually be able to do this. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but that's what I'd like to see. And if I could pick any movie to watch right now on my TV, I'd probably want to watch Batman v Superman, just so I can see how the hell that movie plays out, because I'm very curious. And then right behind that would probably be Star Wars Episode 7, but that's coming out in just a few days, so I can almost wait for that one.
What are your maxes, man? You're always talking about lifting, but I need some numbers.
Some numbers. I don't know. I hardly max out on any lifts. Like I said, we already talked about bench press. I'm one of those guys who my mindset is no one ever got big or stronger by doing one rep. You know, so it just really depends. I don't know, man. I never max out on anything. So I will get those numbers for you. I need to do a max day this week. I need to do that. It's just scary. It's just one of those things you get scared, you know? It frightens me. Okay.
Hey John, are you ever going to think about moving to New York or California or any other places where, like, you know, the critics and the movie industry really is, and your YouTubers are?
New York or LA? You know, I've been to LA, never been to New York. If I had to pick one of those to move to, I'd probably go out to LA just because the weather's a little bit nicer. Have I ever thought about moving there? You know, there was one time where I did, but I've been out there, and it's just not the city for me. It's very expensive. Now, true, you go out there, you will have access to more things. It would help obviously create more content. You would meet more people. There would be more things to do, people to meet, things like that. And that's where the entertainment industry is. And it does make sense. But at the same time, the majority of the stuff I want to do, I can do here in my house with the power of the internet. So it's just one of those things. Do I want to go out there? And I don't like large cities. And I wasn't a huge fan of LA. You know, I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's a mid-sized city. And for me, I like convenience. You know, I like to be able to go wherever I want to go within 15 minutes and I'm there. I don't want to sit in traffic for 3 hours on my way to do something. It just sounds miserable. And I feel like with all the money that it costs to live in larger cities, I mean, like the house I live in would cost $500,000 in Los Angeles, maybe more. And it's just not affordable. It's like, yeah, you can maybe go out there and make more money, but all that extra income you're making really doesn't mean jack shit because you're spending 8 times more just to live. So I would rather live where I live now and do what I want to do and live comfortably, and it's more convenient. So, but LA is one of those places I like to visit occasionally, and if there's an opportunity, I'll go out there. I'll stay in a hotel for a couple of days. I will do that, and I'll come back to the comfort of my mid-sized community. So I hope that answered your question.
Hey John, my question to you is, what was the first movie you ever watched? Or at least the first movie you actually fell in love with?
That's tough, man. I actually remember me and my dad, because my parents were divorced, so my dad would get me on the weekends, and we would always go see movies. And I think that's how I kind of fell in love with movies, maybe a little bit. And those are some of my earliest memories of movies. You know, it was something I always look forward to. I remember with my dad seeing True Lies in the theater. I remember seeing The Lion King. I remember seeing Last Action Hero. I remember seeing the movie Blank Check. And the list keeps going and going. But as far as the first movie I think I ever fell in love with, that's tough. You know, ooh. There's a few movies. I remember my parents or my dad always recorded movies off HBO onto beta tapes. And those are like the movies that we had in our movie collection back when I was younger in the early 90s. And I remember when I was just old enough to comprehend like how to work the beta tape player. And if you don't know what a beta player is, it's kind of like a VHS. And it just got phased out. So I remember always picking these random movies up, and they were like in my dad's handwriting. And just like, what the hell is this? I put it in. That's what I said. I was 5 years old. I said, what the hell is this? And I put it in. You know, I remember movies like Stand By Me, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and those are the movies I grew up on. You know, they weren't all childish kiddie movies. They were like 80s, 90s action movies and drama movies. So I think that's, I don't know. I feel like those are kind of what inspired me to really develop my taste in certain types of films. And don't get me wrong, like I watched kiddie movies. Like I remember watching Dumbo all the time when I was younger, but yeah, the first movie I probably fell in love with was maybe like, I don't know. That's tough to say which one was the first. I don't know. One of those movies I named off. It's a culmination of a whole bunch of movies. Oh, and I remember when I was younger, I went to see Home Alone 2 with my sister 7 times in the movie theater. I'm not lying. So, all right.
So apparently today, one of the screenwriters for Batman vs. Superman said that Doomsday's not the final act.
I already got that question, but thank you for sending it again, and I already answered it.
John, which one are you looking more forward to, The Revenant or The Hateful Eight? Which one do you think you'll like better?
Well, I have a friend who has seen both movies, and I think we share similar taste. So I would say I'm probably going to enjoy The Hateful Eight a little more than The Revenant. Not to say The Revenant's a bad movie. I just feel like The Hateful Eight will just kind of be a more fun, enjoyable, rewatchable movie. So yeah, all right, we got tons. Hey, they keep popping up. All right, guys. What I actually did when we were glitching out here, I actually told everyone on Snapchat to resend their Snapchat questions because Snapchat's a piece of shit once again. Hashtag Snapchat is shit. So yeah, we're getting new questions via video, so let's keep going.
John, what would a Nolan Ninja Turtles movie look like? Keep up the great work.
It would be very realistic. these turtles, what would happen is scientists would take them, they would jack them up on steroids, they would grow them in a lab over years and years of development. They would be trained by the greatest martial artists and people across the planet, and that would be a very Nolan realistic movie. There would be some awkward human emotion in the movie because Nolan always does that. It's like he has human characters in his movies, but they don't quite interact how humans interact. Don't get me wrong, I love Nolan movies, but that's just one thing I've always noticed about his movies. That would be a cool fucking movie, wouldn't it? Like, he'd probably really film it in New York City. There'd be real sets, real locations. The CG would be very subtle. He'd probably want to do practical effects as much as he could. And the Ninja Turtles, in my opinion, would probably look like the version of the Ninja Turtles you're getting in this new adaptation, except without all the stupid accessories like the sunglasses and necklaces and all that. And they'd be simplistic, but that's a movie I'd like to see. I would like to see that movie. All right.
Hey, Flick, I just wanted to ask you what your all-time favorite Arnold movie is. Come on, do it. Just answer the question. Sorry, that comes out every once in a while.
Put the cookie down. What are you doing over there? Favorite Arnold movie of all time is obviously T2 Judgment Day. And then after that, maybe Predator. I actually watched Conan the Barbarian for the first time in like 10 years the other day. Not the greatest movie ever. It has a lot of problems, but damn, Arnold was juiced up in that movie. So I'll go T2 Judgment Day as my favorite Arnold movie of all time. It really encases Arnold. It has a likability factor. It has a badass action factor. And another movie is Last Action Hero, with Arnold in it. And a movie, in my opinion, that was a little bit ahead of its time, because I don't think people were ready to break that third wall, or the fourth wall yet. And that's what that movie did, so.
Hey, John, love your videos. This is my movie cave, It's not as good as yours, but I think I'll get there one day. I love your videos. Keep it up, man. And you follow me on Twitter.
Well, thanks, man. Nice movie cave. It looks relaxing. I like the, it looked like a leather reclining chair. I'm going to come to your house and steal that.
What exactly inspired you to make your YouTube video channel?
What inspired me to make my YouTube channel? I remember just watching guys talk about movies. This was probably back in, I started really watching YouTube back in 2008, 2009. Started my YouTube channel in 2010. And I didn't understand the concept of YouTube. I didn't comprehend that there were communities of people that would talk about certain subjects. I just thought it was cats playing the piano. That's what I thought YouTube was. That's what I didn't give a shit about viral videos. I was like, I don't want to watch that junk. I want to watch people talk about things. And when I discovered that YouTube had those things on it, I started watching people talking about movies, walking around, shooting vlog videos. And I think that's what inspired me to make my own channel, because that's kind of what I was doing with my life, except I wasn't recording it. And I remember one of my friends was like, he's like, you should record what you're doing right now, because you say weird, funny shit sometimes. I'm like, you got a good point, man. So I think that's one of those things that kind of inspired me to do it. And plus, at the time of my life, I wasn't doing much. I was living in my parents' basement, working a job I hated. And I just felt like I wanted to do something creative, because I've always had that creative passion. I always liked doing things with video, editing, things like that. So I think that's what inspired me, basically.
Hey, John. Love your videos. Love your personality. You're awesome. Who do you think will win between Mad Max and Indiana Jones in a fight to the death? Give up, man.
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like Mad Max has more of a rough edge to him. I feel like he will do some dark, shady shit to win that fight. But then again, Indiana Jones isn't exactly a fair fight. There's the look at some of the movies he's in. The guy wants to go hand to hand. He just pulls out a gun and shoots him. So it's tough to say. I think it would be a good fight. It depends. It really depends. I mean, that's a good question. I'm going to put my money on Mad Max. I feel like he's in that post-apocalyptic wasteland, so his mentality is a little bit more sadistic. So I'm gonna go with Mad Max on this.
For the Star Wars premiere on Thursday night, are you gonna get dressed up in any way remotely like this?
Or like this? Or are you gonna keep it more casual?
I might keep it more casual, even though I want a Chewbacca pair of pajamas, and I have tried one of those on before. It's on my Instagram somewhere. Phenomenal. Very warm, very comforting. I enjoyed them. But yeah, I'm probably just going to wear my Star Wars shirt and go watch Star Wars at 11. I think my showing's at 11:45. Yeah, so looking forward to it. All right. Oh, we got some more questions down here. All right.
Hey, John, are you going to watch Star Wars The Force Awakens on opening day, or are you going to wait for the crowd to die down? Love you. Keep up the good work, my man.
Woo! Yeah, that's weird. Isn't that a weird question I just literally answered? Yeah, I'm seeing it opening day at 11:45 at night. There was more show times that same day, but I waited a little bit too long to buy my tickets. I bought my tickets like 2 weeks ago, and the theater I'm going to has reserved seats. So what happened was I can see all the seats that are taken up that day, and the only seats left for every single showtime were like the first 2 front rows. So if I want to break my fucking neck when I watch the movie, I probably could have watched it earlier in the day. But I'm sorry, I need comfort. I need to enjoy that movie when I watch it. So that's the showtime I found that actually had 3 seats side by side where we could actually not snap our necks from watching it. So that's what we're doing.
Whose Batman costume is better? Christian Bale or Ben Affleck?
I love Christian Bale's Batman. A lot of people hate the voice. I'm sorry. If some guy dressed up like a rubber bat came to me in the darkness and talked like that, I would be scared. And that's the point of Batman. To put fear in those who prey on the fearful. Who cares if you can understand him half the time? That's not the point. He's a symbol. You don't need to understand a symbol. You just need to respect it. But yeah, I like what they're doing with Ben Affleck's version of Batman. I think that's a really good version. I think that's probably going to be one of the truest versions of Batman from the comic books we've ever seen. And if you, by the way, I got to talk about this. I'm going to show you what it means to be a man. Like, did you guys hear that line in the new Batman trailer? I'm going to show you what it means to be a man. It makes me laugh. I don't know why. But yeah, the new Batman voice by Affleck, it has like a modulator sound to it. You can definitely tell there's some like digital tweaking of the voice, which makes sense to me. But it sounds good.
John, I like your videos. What are your expectations for Force Awakens?
I want it to be good. Let me take a drink of this. Hang on. Expectations, I do have high expectations. I expect a good quality film. But here's what I want out of Star Wars The Force Awakens. I do not want them to play it safe. Please, I know they're going to give us the fan service that we want. They're going to give us the scenes that we want to see. But please do not play that movie too safe. Take a few risks, do a few things a little bit different, and throw a twist or turn at us. You got to kill somebody off. Somebody important has to die off in that movie to have that emotional impact. So I'm hoping they don't play it too safe.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Home Alone. You got to go with Home Alone on there. By the way, look out for a upcoming movie night where we talk about Home Alone 1 and 2. I have a phenomenal Home Alone Christmas sweater. Check it out on my Instagram. It'll blow your melon. And then after that, I like the Santa Claus. I actually just watched that the other night. I always put myself in Charlie's position in that movie. What if your dad really was Santa Claus and you were telling people about that, but they all thought you were fucking crazy and they took away your dad's visitation rights because of it? That's what they would really do if you told everyone your dad was Santa Claus. And then I like Christmas Vacation. Plus Jingle All the Way. I'm not the Poovid. I just wanted a Turbo Man doll. You know how many times I've had to say that?
How's it going? I'm a longtime fan. My question to you is, what movies are you looking forward to next year? And have you seen the new Independence Day trailer? Thank you.
No, thank you. Everyone's asking me movies coming out next year, and my mind is a blank right now for movies coming out next year. I'm actually making a video in a couple weeks, upcoming movies of 2016, and I might need to figure out which movies are coming out because I just can't comprehend them right now. I'm sorry, it's very late. It's 2:36 in the morning.
Hey, John, I'm risking my life
and getting a ticket to ask you this, but where is that Creed review you promised us?
You're right. I did promise you a Creed review, and it is coming. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I have been sick for 2 weeks. I'm still sick. It was like one day I had a throat infection. The next day it went to my nose. And then it went like I had an eye infection. Dude, I don't know what was happening. I probably burned out my central fucking nervous system by working out 6 days a week. But it's coming. It's gonna be late, but I'm thinking I will. Oh, the other guy asked me about Independence Day trailer. Yeah, I watched that. I like it. And I will have like a review of that on the Flickpick channel, so look out for that. Yeah, my brain just remembered what the other guy asked. But as far as the Independence Day trailer, like I said, look out for a review on the Flickpick channel. It's kind of what I expected.
Yo, John Boy, what would you do if The Force Awakens sucks, and where do you think it's going to place among the rest of the Star Wars films? Can't get worse than Episode 2, right?
You could have... Yeah, nothing can get worse than Episode 2. I'm sorry. Like, the dialogue in those movies is just... It's atrocious, isn't it? Like, it's just like an amateur film student with $100 million making a movie, and they're like, but you can only film it in front of a green screen. Go. Yeah, I think the new Episode 7 will... I think it's going to rank right... It's probably going to be somewhere in the 90%. I really think they're going to give you a good Star Wars movie, because here's the thing. When you're very self-aware, and you're coming off 3 underwhelming movies in the same franchise, and then a new company gets this movie, and they understand that they have to please fans, and they're building billions and billions of dollars worth of a franchise on top of this movie to start out this whole universe of Star Wars spin-offs and prequels and all this other shit. They know that this movie, Star Wars Episode 7, has got to be good. And I think they took everything they had, they threw everything they had at this movie to make it a good movie. So I really think it's going to place in the upper 80s or 90 percentile on Rotten Tomatoes, which would place it alongside Empire Strikes Back. Doesn't Empire have like doesn't it have like a 92 or something on Rotten Tomatoes? I don't know. I feel like Star Wars: The Force Awakens might have something close to that. So.
What do you think of studios trying to rip off the Marvel formula of having a shared movie universe? DC is doing it, and now Universal wants to remake old monster movies and have a shared universe.
Yeah, it does make sense from a business standpoint, because if you do have, like, it does make sense, especially for DC. Now, are they looking at Marvel's formula and saying, wow, we can make more movies out of this one universe and connect everything? Yeah, but in the same, it does make sense if you look at it from a comic book standpoint, because in the comic books, all these characters live in the same universe, they interact with each other occasionally, so why not do something like that? It really... From a film perspective, it makes all the movies feel a little bit more cohesive, and I like things like that, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I think it's a beneficial thing. As far as the Universal's monster type thing that they're trying to do, it doesn't seem like that's working out very well, does it? Like, yeah, Godzilla was okay, but then they did like that Dracula movie. I know they actually wanted to build that into a franchise, I believe. And that was an atrocious piece of shit. And now they're coming out with a new King Kong movie, and they're trying to tie that in with Godzilla. So far, it seems like it's not working too well for Universal and their whole shared universe. But as far as DC, I mean, everything is resting on the shoulders of Batman v Superman. So if that turns out to be good, and then they can come out with a good Wonder Woman movie, then a good Justice League movie, and they tie things together, I'm cool with that. I think that's okay. I think that's a good formula. So...
I'm watching Rambo jacked up on caffeine. And I'm a big fan. So, what are your thoughts on Pulp Fiction, alright? Quentin Tarantino's films. Love you.
I love you too, man. I love you too, little guy. No one's wearing shirts in these videos. I don't blame you. Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, probably my favorite Tarantino movie. A movie I actually remember watching on HBO back in like 1996 or 1997. And at the time... it's not a linear way of telling the story. They have clips from the end of the movie and the beginning of the movie. And, like, when I was younger, it kind of confused me a little bit. But Tarantino, man, that man can make the most interesting dialogue-driven scenes you've ever seen in any film. And he kind of is like you have Kevin Smith, who kind of does the same thing. But if Kevin Smith was a master filmmaker, he would be what Tarantino is. Kevin Smith is like the cheap man's version of Tarantino. Fair enough, but I like both directors. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. I love Pulp Fiction. I don't have any complaints with that movie. Every scene is just captivating. The pawn shop scene still scares me to this day. Get the gimp.
Would James Dean be a good Batman? I really want to know. Can you tell me? Please, John. Also follow me on Instagram, RealBatman95, one word.
Would James Dean have made a good Batman when he was alive? I don't know. I don't know if he would have. Maybe. That would be interesting. I don't know. I have to see James Dean wearing a Batman mask. Or you know who else would have maybe made, if you're going to go back to that time frame, what if like Marlon Brando, when Marlon Brando was younger, would he have made a good Batman? Huh? What do you think about that? Hey, Stella! You know, it could have been good.
Do chickens have large talons? What was your first job? And if you were to fight one expendable, who would it be?
If I had to fight one expendable, I don't know. Wasn't technically Liam Hemsworth an expendable? I feel like I could beat his ass. Like nobody else in that group. Terry Crews or Terry Crews. Yeah, he'd beat the shit out of me. Chicken and talons. Yes. What was the other question? I forget. We'll just answer the expendables question. There you go.
Hey John, how many calories you eat a day and how many carbs?
Already answered that. I don't track macros, man. I really don't. I try to always keep my carbs to a minimum. Some days I eat more, some days I eat less. But the thing is, I notice I'm very sensitive to everything I eat. So, like, if I just ate very, very good, very clean, without a lot of carbs and a lot of fat for like a couple days or maybe like a week, I lean out very quickly. And it's like, oh, my abs are all cut and popping out. And then I can go one day where I eat a whole bunch of carbs. The next day I'm just all swollen and it looks awesome. And I look like the Hulk about to explode out of my t-shirt. I don't know. I go by feel, I go by touch, and I don't track anything I do. I just have a certain amount of food I feel like I can consume in a day. And then some days like I'll eat crap, but then 90% of the day I'll eat something good. So that's typically what I do.
Hey, Flickpick, what if Batman vs. Superman sucks? What would you do? And, fuck, marry, kill. Jabba the Hutt, Jar Jar Binks, or Doomsday?
We already... I thought I already got that question, but then he added fucking Doomsday in there. Doomsday just looks like he'd be very rough with you, doesn't he? But Jabba the Hutt, he just looks like... He's a big fluffy guy. He can just squeeze. So yeah. Alright.
John, my question to you is, did you watch VHSs when you grew up? It's not about doing your best, it's about being your best. Leonardo DiCaprio.
I love it, man. Yeah, I watched VHS growing up and beta tape. I watched it all, man. I didn't get a DVD player until the early 2000s. And the first DVD I ever watched at my house was Final Destination on DVD. Let's answer a few more questions. And we're going to wrap up this long-ass Q&A.
Hey there, Flickpick. How are you?
I'm good.
I want to ask you what's your favorite foreign movie? Love you.
I love you too. I don't, off the top of my head, foreign films, like, they're just, like, escaping me. Like, I want to answer my favorite one rather than just name off a whole bunch of foreign films I know that were shot in foreign countries, because technically that's what makes a foreign film. And I could cheat and say some big blockbuster action movie that was technically shot in another country that would technically be a foreign film. But I don't know, maybe, I think The Raid is a really good, independent foreign film.
Hey John, I just wanted to ask you about your thoughts and opinions on the latest Steve Jobs film, directed by Danny Boyle and written by Aaron Sorkin. Hope you're doing well and keep up the great work.
Did not watch the latest Steve Jobs movie, and I don't have almost any interest to do so. I know that's sad. Maybe I just don't care about Steve Jobs. I personally just don't give a fuck about the guy. I know, it's like he invented the iPhone and things, but really, Steve Jobs, when you break down what the guy was, he was an anal retentive asshole who took other people's ideas, ran with them, and then every time someone tried to correct him and tell him a better idea, he would deny them until the last second, and then he would utilize their idea, which turned into a successful company. But nevertheless, an interesting guy. Did I just rant about Steve Jobs right there? Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't watch the latest Steve Jobs movie. I heard it was pretty good. It's one of those movies I might just get on a rainy day, but isn't it weird no one's talking about that movie? Like, that Steve Jobs movie came out, 1 week later, it wasn't in theaters, no one talks about it. So, alright guys, I think I got all the video questions off Snapchat there, and like I said, there's hundreds and hundreds of more I cannot watch. Those videos are lost forever because of Snapchat. Don't know what happened. It says I already watched them, even though I didn't. So, and I looked it up online, and it's just like, it's a common problem. So, that's bad. I'm going to refresh one more time to see if any new videos pop up. Alright guys, so I think that's going to cover all the Snapchat viewer questions. And please don't, after this video, don't submit any more. I mean, you guys can send me snaps of stuff. I do occasionally respond, but it's almost impossible to respond to every snap I get. But I do watch every single snap I get. But yeah, every time I do one of these new Q&A videos, probably like an hour before I shoot it, I will ask you guys to send me some snap Q&A questions. So yeah, guys, thanks for taking the time to send me your snap videos. I appreciate it. It was a fun way to answer your questions. And I did rather enjoy it, but I will also continue doing Q&As with the comment questions. I probably will do another Q&A sometime this week because I'm very backed up on a lot of the comment questions on the last Q&A. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out the last video on this channel. It was a vlog with Chris Stuckman in his man cave. Check that video out. Link down below. See you guys next time.